Hey everybody, welcome to week 4. Here's what we've got going on. We're moving on to the next stage in our design thinking process, or in the Design for Delight, the go broad to go narrow stage. We'll be working on a lot of brainstorming and trying to figure out how to take a big long list of brainstormed ideas and narrow them down into one solution to try first. We'll express that solution using something called a storyboard. So what you need are the slides for the week. Watch this video. Look at another video posted in Brightspace that shows you how to make a storyboard, and then you're going to need some other tools like paper, pencil, post-it notes. You're actually going to physically craft a storyboard outside of your computer unless you have those computer design and editing skills, which I don't expect you to have. So in this instance, paper and pencil is totally acceptable for submitting an assignment. You're going to draw a storyboard, take a picture of it, and then upload that picture into Brightspace. Please make sure when you take a photo that the lights are on, the image is clear so that I can see it and I can read it. And if you're handwriting any part of this assignment, please write slowly so that I can read your writing. I'll go through what that assignment's all about. So you have a brainstorm narrow storyboard assignment. That's one part of the work for the week. Then you also have Ice House Chapter 3, which you're getting used to doing those. Shouldn't be any issue with Ice House. So as I mentioned, we're going to this next step past empathy. We took time to do some interviews and build some empathy. You're going to take that same example, that same problem that you defined for your person that you interviewed last week, and now you're going to go on to go broad to go narrow. You're going to ideate and come up with a lot of different possible solutions. So go ahead and watch a video that I've got posted in Brightspace on Ideate, which explains a little bit about why this is important and how to go about doing it. Some of the key aspects of ideation include being visual. People like to use post-it notes or draw little pictures when they're brainstorming. If that works for you, that activates different parts of your brain, have at it. When we're brainstorming, and my computer's freezing up a little bit here, when we're brainstorming, we're prioritizing a high number of ideas, so quantity over quality. We want more ideas rather than a handful of better ones. So even if you think your idea is not going to work for whatever reason, write it down. It counts. Think wild. These wild and crazy ideas that probably aren't practical, those are okay. We want to write those down too, include those in our brainstorming because they might lead us to a unique creative solution that we can feasibly do. So tips for brainstorming: you want to spend at least 4 or 5 minutes for your brainstorming assignment. Set a timer. Turn that phone on and set a timer for brainstorming. You'll probably jot down a few ideas at first, and then there'll be a little bit of a lull. That's when the good ideas start to come, is after that lull. I am looking for at least 10 ideas, if not more, on your homework, so please be sure to give us a big long list of brainstorming ideas. Be visual if it helps you, and remember, wild and crazy ideas are really good. If we were in a classroom together, I'd give you this brainstorming practice assignment where we're just going to warm up our brains, set a timer for 4 minutes, and the prompt is, how would you change a light bulb on a ceiling without a ladder? What you do in that 4-minute time span is just come up with as many new, unique, creative ideas as you possibly can. I want you to go ahead and do that. Pause this video and go through that practice exercise just to get your brain going and get a sense for how long that 4 minutes is going to feel when you're trying to actually brainstorm. And push through that lull. Push through that point when you just don't think you can come up with any more ideas, because chances are really good you can have a few more left in you, at least 10. So take a minute, pause the video, and come on back when you have a list. After we've come up with a long list of possible ideas, there's a couple different methods you can use for narrowing them down. For the first one, you want to try. Doesn't mean it's the right solution, it just means it's the one we're going to test first. I like 2 particular methods. With the brainstorming, one aspect of this is that it works really well if you brainstorm with a team. So feel free to include your roommates, your family, your friends, anybody else you want to bring into your brainstorming assignment. You're welcome to do that. If you brainstorm with others, this 100 points method is really useful. Give every team member, every person you brainstormed with, 100 points that they can allocate across all of the brainstormed ideas. And then they vote based on, more points for the idea they like better. They might give 50 points to their favorite idea and then 10 points to 5 other ideas that they like, but not as much as that first one. Everybody adds their points, and whatever idea has the most points first is going to be the one that's tried first. So the most points gets tried first. This is a great narrowing method if you are brainstorming with a team. If you're working by yourself, then another good solution is the 2x2 method. This helps narrow as well. You're going to create a matrix similar to the one you see on the slide that has multiple axes, and ideally a good solution falls in the top right quadrant. So in this example, the criteria that they're using is whether it's an important customer problem or not an important customer problem, whether the solution solves the problem well or doesn't solve the problem well. You could come up with your own individual criteria. It might be easy to implement, hard to implement, or expensive to implement, cheap to implement, anything that you think is meaningful to your problem. Then you plot the solutions based on how they correspond to that criteria. So anything in this upper right quadrant is good. It solves the problem well, and it solves an important problem well, using this example. So then you just pick the one that scores the best, whatever is the furthest to the top right, and that's the one you try first. Once you've narrowed your solution down to one possible option, then you're going to create a storyboard. And there's a great video in Brightspace showing you what a storyboard is and how to do it. So I'm not going to play this now or give you too much detail. I just want to draw your attention to that storyboard video. Ultimately, you'll end up with something like this, 6 to 8 frames that show this specific information. Number 1, the customer experiencing the problem. Number 2, how they come in contact with your solution. I want to see at least 3 slides or 3 frames on how the solution works, what it actually does to help solve this problem. And then the last frame is the customer using and experiencing the benefit from your particular solution. So this is an important part. Make sure you have at least 3 frames on how the solution works. Now, I've got a few more slides that are somewhat relevant, but I want you to focus on those. And your assignment then is going to be brainstorm, narrow, and storyboard. It's a 3-part assignment. So when I grade this, I'm looking for first a list of at least 10 brainstormed ideas. Then I'm looking for a clear narrowing method that you used, either the 100 points method or the 2x2 method. And then I'm looking for a storyboard, at least 6 up to 8 images. It's the storyboard itself that can be the hand-drawn part. But again, if you're drawing it, make sure the image that you take, the picture you take, is something that I can read when you submit it in Brightspace. So you've got this aspect. You're using the same problem you uncovered last week with your interview when you built empathy. And then you also have Icehouse, Chapter 3. Any questions, let me know. Hope you have a great week.